Hey everybody, let me get some Benny on here. I'm trying to submit expense reports and stuff on a system that was clearly designed in the
Benny
90s.
Goodman and his music.
It expects me to be using a 1990s computer. Hey Martin and Karen. Hey Carolyn. Yeah, working from home today. Hey Kathy. I may be a little bit hoarse, Kathy. It's entirely possible. Hey Crit, hey Sue, hey Heather. I didn't bring my microphone with me to New York, so I was like shouting in groups as to how to use the subway. And Marita, hey Susan. Hey Donna.
Benny Goodman, ladies
Hey,
and gentlemen,
Kathy.
the man with the torrid clarinet and the even more torrid band who purveys assorted rhythms, all danceable, in the urban
Hey
rooms of
Sharice,
the
good morning everybody. Hey Geraldine, hey Todd.
And first of all,
Back at
one of
home.
Irving Berlin's greatest hits, Blue Skies.
Back at home for a day or so. Tomorrow I'll do the tour, do the walking tour, then I gotta head to Springfield to work with a little kid group for a day. I don't know what they expect me to do exactly. Probably too young that I can even tell the poop story. Hey Betsy, I'll probably tell it anyway. That's if they come I was like, hey, I never told you I worked with with fourth graders. Hey Gina, thanks for signing up for the Patreon. Hey Julianne. Betsy, you know I don't do well with days off. All morning I've been doing paperwork. Thanks, Katie. Yep, expanding my John Lennon shirt collection. Well, his is like, his version was like cut off sleeve, so if I roll it up like so, there we go. Kathy, fourth graders love poo stories. I don't know if their teachers do. Well, you know what? At a certain point, I gotta come where I don't care anymore. Hey, Adela. Oh yeah, Eileen, I intend to relax once I get all this paperwork and catch up on all the emails that I couldn't get to over the last week. I need the sleeves. Hey, Rodriguez in Ottawa. My nose looks ready. I got some sun, man. I'm a little burned. I had told Ronnie I was on my way home, like make sure there is some ice. I'm gonna need a good cocktail when I get home. And then I never had one. Hey, Bridget. Hey, Bella. You know, my John Lennon outfit copies are not exact. They're a little bit updated. Like the purple shirt and vest combo from the Get Back sessions. I'm using kind of a heathered purple. Hey, Caesar and Carolina in Poland. Hey, Ellie. Round glasses. I don't think I currently have my. I don't think I currently have a pair that aren't sunglasses, but I do have these. Yeah, Phoenix, it's Saturday. I did have a pair like that was just regular glasses, but you kind of get tired of the Harry Potter jokes after a while. When the flight was delayed, it ended up being a couple of hours. It was just back and forth. They delayed it, then they undelayed it some, then they redelayed it more. You know.
Alan Ward singing With All My Heart.
Hey, Nancy. But I did decide I worked from home today, partly because I just accidentally took more omeprazole pills than I'm supposed to. And that's safe enough, but side effects may include confusion and drowsiness. So driving someplace, I just decided not to do. Hey Tashera, hey John, hey Ellen. Good morning, Marie. At the Hard Rock Cafe in New York, they've got a guitar that John Lennon gave to Dylan that Dylan later gave to his guitar tech Cesar Diaz back in '68. I'm trying to figure out when would John and Bob have crossed paths in '68. We know they did in '67 and probably '69 when Bob played the Isle of Wight. Beyond that, harder to tell. Got enough driving to do yet tomorrow. But then a lot of good new songs have come out, so I got a lot to listen to. There's a great new Mountain Goat song that came out yesterday, and it's a few weeks old, but I just discovered Kate's Brother by Maggie Peters, which is this pop masterpiece. Basically, if Taylor Swift wrote a Hold Steady song, it would be Kate's Brother. Yeah, both cats are floating around. They're sure glad to see me back. Miles is in the window. Where'd Priya go? She was here. Telling of the miracle day you came along. Thanks, Tony. This is the shirt I got when I got absolutely drenched in a downpour. I had to get something new. I was like, I'll add to my John Lennon shirt collection. But alright, so I think this is a longer intro than we normally do on a daily mini tour. So what we're going to do is this is another work from home day on my part. Welcome along, everybody. I got one weekend at home briefly before heading back out on the road for one more school group of the year. So I thought I'd just do a TikTok theater. I haven't been doing as much TikTok. The numbers on them went down quite a bit. So, I haven't been as into it lately. So anyway, though, I do have a few that I don't think I've shown here on a TikTok theater. So here we go. Here's a few of those. First one that I know I had filmed with the last time, but I was just about to do the grave robbing in New York tour, so I left it off. So here we go. Across from the Oculus and the World Trade Center, St. Paul's Churchyard has been there since the 1700s. Now, this largest and most prominent monument that you can see here is not for some statesman or war hero. It's for an actor named George Frederick Cook, who died back in 1812. He was initially interred in something called the Stranger's Vault, but 9 years later, some actors got together and had him moved to this new space with a nice monument that has flames pointing towards one of the theaters on Park Row where he performed. Now, here's where it gets weird. The doctor who supervised the removal was a guy by the name of John Francis, who helped himself to Cook's skull and kind of made this known. So one day a guy knocked at the door, said, "Hey, we're over at the theater doing Hamlet tonight. We hear you have a skull." So George Frederick Cook got to go back on stage and play Yorick. His skull is now at Thomas Jefferson University in Pennsylvania. This is pretty well documented. We've even got it in Francis's own words that it happened. Very well documented as these things go. Another follow-up from around the same place. One factoid I came across a few times while researching the grave-robbing New York tour was in 1750, doctors John Bard and Peter Middleton performed the first human dissection in New York on the body of Hermanus Carroll, a murderer. Trouble is, I couldn't find a reference to that dissection from before about 1812. Now, after some digging the other day, though, I did find that in the mid-1740s, a guy named Manus Carroll killed somebody in Albany. In 1747, he was captured in Pennsylvania. 1748, they hanged him in New York. That's probably our guy. Now, opinions differ as to whether he refused to confess or if he had confessed that he was an old notorious sinner. He appears in one other record that I could find, and that is a land sale in the 1730s. He sold a part of Albany at the foot of Gallows Hill. Well, that's ominous. Oh, sorry. Hard for me to see when I'm back there. But yeah, I'm normally in most years I'm in New York a couple of months out of the year. This year was a little bit less just because I didn't do as many school groups this year. And next year, honestly, I'm a little bit worried that the company is now just going to assign me airport greetings and little kid groups in Springfield or try to get me to start working DC all the time. That's just not the kind of thing that I do. Now, here's one that I put on there that I may not really be allowed to and really doesn't have much to do with much, but a couple of my friends and I are kind of obsessed with the body horror, body horror saga that was Elvis in the 1970s. There's this one TV special that they filmed shortly before his death. I'm just obsessed with the beginning. It shows people like filing in looking bored and listening to the long pitch for the Elvis Super Souvenirs. These guys all look, well, it is 1977, and they all look like they crawled out of 1977. Which of these guys are you?
Some 25 color portraits of Elvis in his concert tours across America. The giant photo album sells for only $3. Then we have the giant Elvis portrait on portrait paper. Looks just like an oil painting for only $5. We have the smaller Elvis portrait also on portrait paper for only $3. Those great Elvis buttons, $2 each. The 11 by 14 color photograph of Elvis for only $3. Beautiful posters suitable for framing in beautiful color for only $3 each. Then everyone has a front row seat with a set of binoculars. We have those great binoculars for $5 each. And then we have two brand new Elvis Super Souvenirs. One is a beautiful Elvis necklace. All the ladies want to wear an Elvis necklace for only $5. And then in limited supply this evening, a beautiful Elvis gold belt buckle for $10. All at the Elvis Super Souvenir concession stands in the outer lobbies. The vendors are in the audience. You have plenty of time before this evening's concert begins to get your memento of your evening with Elvis and get one of the great Elvis Super Souvenirs.
Could have fooled me, dude. All the ladies want to wear the Elvis necklace. Then the clip itself, the concert video, is like, how am I this guy's same age? He's only a few months older than me in that video. But you know, there's also the video from around that time, that same tour where he just plops down on the piano and says, I'm gonna sing this song, and just does Unchained Melody and just crushes it. He could still hit it out of the park when he wanted to. That's what makes it a tragedy. But all right. And up here in Old Town, just north of the Loop, checking out these really cool townhouses by John L. Schuler. It's this run of triangular pizza slice houses. They kind of remind me of those Cedar Contemporary houses from about the same time period that you see in the suburbs. So these are from about 1970. The architect John L. Schuler just died in 2005, and he comes from quite the pedigree of Chicago architecture. His father was Alfred L. Schuler, who designed buildings like the London Guarantee Building, now the London House. And really, he did a lot of buildings around town, but you can never just look at one and say, hey, there's an Alfred L. Schuler, because they all look totally different. And his father, Samuel, took the first photograph of Abraham Lincoln with a beard. Here's the guy. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Miles, you want to show him the time about Al Capone shot himself in the nuts? Let's look at the time Al Capone shot himself in the nuts. Let's talk about the time Al Capone shot himself in the crotch. September of 1928, Tony Lombardo, a Chief Capone ally, was gunned down in the Loop right at Madison and Dearborn, one of the most public hits in mob history. Everybody knew that Capone was going to have to retaliate by having someone shot, and it turned out to be himself. A couple of weeks later, he was golfing and had a gun in either his pocket or the golf bag. The gun went off, he was shot, newspapers said it was in the leg, but prison records reveal that he really had shot a hole in his scrotum. Miles is down over here just purring and purring today. Yeah, Miles. Here's one from just the other day. This is a thing I'll be rehashing in my head a long time. Alright, so I'm in New York. I was just with a school group at Pearl Studios where they do auditions and rehearsals and workshops and stuff. While I was waiting on the group, a woman stuck her head out of a door and said, "Oh, are you here to audition for me?" But I didn't say yes. I should have said yes. I'm going to be rehashing this in my head for the rest of my life. I've narrowed it down. My monologue would either be the Graves and Worms and Epitaphs one from Richard II, which I could I wouldn't get it exactly right, but I can fake my way through it. Or Peter Falk's monologue from The Great Muppet Caper, which is immortal. One more that I was up there just very briefly. I am absolutely loving the Bryant Park movie night schedule. It's 2022. Welcome back to the park. They're kind of focusing on sequels this year. So, August 8th, they're going to be showing Grease 2. It's kind of an only in New York thing. You take this absolutely magnificent park and intentionally show bad movies there. Well, I think you might be able to hear this guy purr. He's glad to have me back for a couple days anyway. But alright, so... quick plug, this is a little bit out of date now. Tomorrow morning is going to be the virtual Shopping in Chicago tour. That'll be a full-length one, and will set us up for... Miles. It'll set us up for Prairie Avenue, Splendor and Scandal coming up that afternoon. Tickets are still available. AdamChicago.com has the links to all of that stuff. So... all right, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining me. Presume what's going on Twitter over here. But all right, thanks everybody. I'm glad to be back home for a bit. I hope you've enjoyed all the New York content over the last couple of weeks, and now we are back in Chicago. So thanks everybody. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago Tour, saying to stay safe, stay strong, and of course, if you can, stay spooky, everybody.